Okay, hi, welcome to What's Your Story. I am here with a 20 plus year entertainment industry veteran.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. And owner of the Chili Mango Truck.
My shirt, like it's cool.
This is Jason Ybarra. Thanks for coming and chatting with me today.
In the rain.
Yeah, totally in the rain. And we're
pouring
at
rain outside.
Rev Wine and Brewery in West Covina. I have lots of questions, but okay. So I want to know, in high school, not in high school, but after high school, I thought you were. I knew you had something to do with Power Rangers, but I kind of thought you were like the Red Power Ranger for some reason. Were you a Power Ranger? What was your affiliation?
Okay, so after high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I became a movie extra because I heard that was the biggest thing to be, and you made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case at that time.
Okay.
But the first show they sent me to was Power Rangers, and I was an extra for a little bit. And one day, the costume guy that was in charge of the monsters came in, and he was looking for somebody to be Babu. Babu is this blue monkey-looking thing that was like the bad girl's henchman. And at the time, there were all these guys and girls with me. The guys were real buff. I was a scrawny little kid, and then the girls, the girls have girl parts, so you had to squeeze yourself into this suit, sort of like a RoboCop thing. Or how Peter Weller. If you ever heard the story of Peter Weller getting the RoboCop gig, kind of the same thing. I was skinny enough in the whole group to fit in this one little suit.
Okay.
So I was Babu. Now I wasn't the first Babu because I came in. I started there like mid-season of the second season after the first group had left, and there was probably 2 or 3 Babus before me. So I became Babu, and I was Babu for a couple seasons, and still an extra. And I was in some of the Ranger suits, not often. But it got confused. It got confusing, and people on the internet at the time, because the internet was real big back in '94. Remember that? So if they saw you in a suit, they were like, "Oh man, you're like the stunt guy, or you're like the actor, or like so."
Yeah, no, totally.
At the time, I wasn't real big on the internet, so I didn't see any of that stuff.
Okay.
But it was out there. Like people were saying this stuff about me, and other people, not just me, right? So to clear things up, I was the bad guy.
Okay.
I was in the Ranger costumes a few times for not really any matter of importance.
Okay.
But I worked on that show for a few years, and I actually got my union card doing craft service on that show, which had I not taken that craft service job, now mind you, on that show, when they offered me the job, the show was just becoming union after like 12 years, right? Now I hadn't been there the whole time, but after 12 years, the show became union. And the union only wanted to pay the craft service person $9 an hour back in '98 or something, right?
I don't even know what minimum
Whatever minimum wage was, that's what they wanted to pay.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of those people were older and had families, so nobody took that job, right? And so they hired in-house per se. So the UPM came in and said, "Anybody want to do this job?" And I'm like, "All right." Not really thinking of the benefits down the line. I just thought that I was going to have a regular job,
Yeah.
right? Because the character stuff was every once in a while. It was like 2 days a week, whenever the character needed to be filmed, right? So it wasn't a big deal. And then I was an extra the rest of the time.
Okay.
So I took that craft service job, and
How old were you?
that's-
Like 90.
the craft service job was like 24. I started the show when I was 18. So right out of high school, I was there.
Okay.
So I did that job. I left when the show went away. Disney bought the show and took it away, and so everybody had to go find other things. But because we all left, including me, and I started working on union stuff, I found out what a union paycheck was. So Power Rangers, you make like $500 a week, and then the union paycheck, you make like $3,000. So I thought, hey, it's not so bad leaving the show that I really like being a part of, right?
Yeah.
And so now that's what I do. I do craft service. There's many different aspects of craft service.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I just assume that craft services is you're the person in charge of making sure that all the people that are working on that are being fed? Does that mean you have to make it? You get it?
So craft service and catering are two different things. The catering people that come in the catering trucks, they're the ones that serve the breakfast and the lunch.
Okay.
Craft service, I like to think of them as a glorified janitor slash 7-Eleven person.
Okay.
So we get a budget, and we with that budget we put the snacks out through the rest of the day.
Okay.
Right? And then we take care of the trash. That's the main job nowadays on set. A little brief history, which I didn't even know about till I started. Craft service was about helping the craft. Every position in the industry is a craft.
Okay.
So back in the old days, there was no food. There was no water and coffee. It was you helped the sound person do the chords, or you helped the camera guy wrap up whatever.
Uh-huh.
But little by little, as industry went on, it started with coffee and donuts, and then now it's like a full-fledged like 7-Eleven.
Right. Right.
And everybody I don't want to say everybody, but it's been my experience that a lot of people that work in the industry, they don't know how good they have it. What job do you know where you make a lot of money and you get free food all day?
Yeah. So you're like the catering does the meals, and then you're there in between for pretty much anything that they can snack on
that I can fit in my budget.
Okay.
A lot of times there's shows where there's no budget, where I've worked on you can just have whatever you want, and then there's shows where it's like just a bare minimum, water and whatever. But there's a lot of people that don't know how good they have it in the industry, and it's pretty funny to watch them get upset for not having like cashews or like whatever.
I want only yellow M&Ms.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Okay, so you've been doing that then, among other things, but you've been consistently doing that since you were
24-ish, 23.
24? Okay.
Yeah.
What have you learned about the industry and the people in it by being in this position of the industry?
Well, I learned early on, before I was craft service, when I was in that suit, that you're on top of the world 1 minute, and then the next minute you just back in the garbage can.
Yeah.
Not that I have a pretty face and I could be like the next, Dylan on 90210, but I kind of knew when
Who knows what Dylan looks like anymore? I'm sure he was aged horribly.
Yeah, but I kind of knew when I was offered this position. Now, mind you, they didn't just offer it to me. Like, they asked who wanted to take it, and nobody took it. It was like, I'll take it, right? So I knew that a lot of people on the show knew that the show was going away.
Okay.
So either
you didn't.
No, I knew.
Oh, you did too. Okay.
A lot of us knew, and so we were hoping it wasn't true, but it was like little by little you knew that it was going away, and then but so I decided, hey, I had my fun doing that, and maybe I can make a career out of this, right? Because there's so many people trying to get in the industry all the time, no matter what it is, and that's usually how people get their job in the industry. It's like they were at the right place at the right time. They may not have wanted to do props, but they happened to be working with the prop guy, or vice versa, or sound or whatever, right? And that's how a lot of them got in. So that's how I got in, right? I got in because nobody else wanted to do the job,
right?
And I was there. So, yeah.
And it afforded you, life. It took care of you.
I was able to buy this cool sweater from Forever 21. So, yeah.
What do you like about the Chili Mango truck?
Well, I get to work with my lovely girlfriend who's sitting over there.
She's over there pretending not to hear us.
Yeah. It keeps us doing something fun. You see our outfits; we're all like colorful. My shoes even match the shirt and everything. But so we have fun doing it. We're like two little characters.
Yeah.
People always comment. They're like, "Man, your ice cream's really good," but we think it's people will hire us because of the way we're dressed and the way we act.
Yeah.
Not that the chili mangoes aren't good, but they're like, man, you guys have a big personality that goes with the truck.
It's a full presentation and a full experience.
So like immersive, like an immersive thing, right?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
But I also get to drive the truck, and the truck is a right-hand drive. So in case you don't know what that means that I drive on the passenger side of the car, which took me a little bit to get used to.
All right, now I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Tell me how you met Vanilla Ice, and what is his name?
Rob Van Winkle.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
So I got to go back. I met Rob in 2014, but I'm going to go back to 2011. So 2011, I had all these sports cars. I had like a BMW Z3. I thought I was like the cool kid, right? Because I could afford these cool toys. Because I was going to get the girls, but that didn't help, right? It didn't help that I had these cool cars. The girls didn't give a crap. But anyway, so I had belonged to this group called Star Cars. They're out in LA, where everybody that's part of this group has a different replica movie car that looks just like the car, right?
Oh.
So like Back to the Future DeLorean or Batmobile. So we'll go back a little bit more. I actually, the first car I built was a RoboCop police car.
Okay.
Because I had bought the real RoboCop, one of the real RoboCop suits from the movie to be on display in my house. And I wanted something to complement the suit, so I took it upon myself, not knowing anything about this group or anything. I went and bought an old Ford Taurus for $500, because if you saw the movie, the car was really nothing. It was like flat black with a little police light and a sticker.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I did. I bought a $500 Ford Taurus, I bought a $100 police light, and I had the stickers made. Cheap car, right? But it was a movie car.
Yeah.
And I was working at Paramount Studios at the time on a show. And every day I would take it to work in the parking lot. I'd come back with this business card on it, like it said Star Cars. The guy's name was Nate, the phone number. He was like, call me. Now this happened for a whole month. Like every day the card was there. I'd get the card and I would throw it away and be like, sorry Nate. But that card would be on the windshield, like, what the fuck? Throw it away. And then finally, I called, because it was so persistent that I called him. And I go, hey, I got your card here. He's like, yeah, well, I belong to this, I started this group. He's like, I personally made a 66 Batmobile back in the day, so that's my car. And I have all these other cars in the group, and we do like car shows and charity functions and stuff like that. You want to be a part of our group? I'm like, all right, whatever. So I started doing car shows and charity events for like kids and stuff like that. And then I sold the car. Not that it wasn't fun, but for whatever reason I sold it. I forget why I sold it. I made money. I made money off the car. But then I didn't have a car. And I wasn't going to these events anymore. He was bringing me out every once in a while because of Babu and the Power Ranger stuff. And but for like probably 4 or 5 years I didn't have a car, a movie car. And then I was a big Ninja Turtle fan growing up, and Transformers. So I built Ratchet from Transformers, the little Toyota van. It was a toy, and so I built that. That was my next car, and so I started doing shows like with that. And I go, even though that, okay, so me in the car club, there's a lot of duplicates, like Batmobiles and DeLoreans,
Multiple, yeah.
and Knight Riders, right? I didn't want to have a car that had duplicates, and if I had one of those duplicates, I wanted to have like the best one.
Right.
But a lot of those cars were expensive, like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well,
so they have the best of the best.
yeah. So I go, what can I build that nobody has, that they can't trump me, right? And I go, I'm going to build a Ninja Turtle van. So I bought this donor VW bus for like $1,000, and I had these 3 guys make it. Three different guys were working on different parts of it, and like almost $40,000 later, I had my Ninja Turtle van, right? And people are like, yeah, it's a piece of crap. I go, yeah, but it's probably worth more than your fucking car. And so then I started doing charity events again with that then, right? So I had the van for a year or two, and I was always in search of a costume to put, a Ninja Turtle costume to put in the van next to me while I'm driving, right? So it'd be cool. And there was all these, it's all the crap costumes that are out. And there was a Comic-Con that I didn't go to in LA that this guy that made one of the first turtle suits, all my friends saw him, so they started tagging me in all the pictures that they found. And none of the pictures said who this guy was, because nobody knew who he was. And I went, like, Facebook stalked this guy for like a whole weekend. And finally somebody tagged him, and I messaged him. I go, hey, how much do you want for that suit? He's all, well, I made it for me, and there's only one. But are you serious? I go, yeah. How much do you want? How long? He's like, I don't know, a couple grand. Take me like 3 weeks. I'm like, done. Give me your PayPal. I'll give you half. He's like, are you serious? I go, yeah, I want that suit.
Yeah.
So I get the suit, put it in the van, and right away, as soon as it was in the van, I go stop for gas or whatever, and people are like, you do parties? And I'm like, sure. Right? That was never the plan.
Yeah.
And so I started doing parties. They're like, how much does it cost? I go, oh no, $100 an hour. They're like, great, come to my house. I started my social media for the van, TMNT van. Maybe it will be on the screen right there. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I'm learning how to do that stuff. Yeah.
And so I started, one of the things I started, because I'm doing a lot of things, so I started a character business for the turtles, right? I was the only one next to the guy that made the suit that had this costume which was mimicking the original movies back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody started to follow me and wanted them for the parties. And I got to the point real quick, like within a month of social media with it, that I had parties booked every Friday, every Saturday and Sunday. 5 parties on Saturday, 5 parties on Sunday, all me. And that was for the next 2 months. And I was only charging them $100. So after a while, after that like month and a half, not that I got burnt out doing the character, I got burnt out doing it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I was compensating myself the right way.
Yeah.
Because it's my time. So an hour party for you is an hour before and an hour after for me.
Right.
So 3 hours for one person.
Yeah.
When all the party people hiring me were like, you're only here for an hour. I go, yeah, but it's 3 hours.
There's more than that.
So I looked online to see what was the equivalent of me. And the only thing I could find was like the party princesses, like the ones that do Cinderellas and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, even though I didn't sing, they did everything. They got all made up, right? So they were charging like $300
Wow.
an hour.
Wow.
So my price bumped up to $250. That's
Yeah.
what I believe my compensation, my time was worth.
Yeah.
Right? Because I also, in case you don't know, the turtle suit is all rubber, and I'm encased in it. So I'm basically incubating myself in this costume for an hour.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how that costume started. Instagram went so viral, and I started a webpage. I was booked for the next 2 years, a year in advance,
Oh my goodness.
every weekend.
Oh.
It was just one turtle that started it, and eventually it was all 4, and the bad guys. And then there's a guy named Jared. See, I'm giving you a plug, Jared. Jared out in Texas. He was having a birthday party, and for his birthday party, he wanted Vanilla Ice to play with the turtles again for the first time since the movie.
Okay.
That's what he wanted.
Okay.
So Jared started Jared's Epic Party, and he started a GoFundMe or something like a GoFundMe to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So he needed X amount of dollars for the venue and for Vanilla Ice. I think it started out with 20 or 30 grand he was asking. People could buy a ticket from wherever in the world, right? If you saw this thing, you could buy a ticket for like $100, $50 or $100, right? And that's what he got the money from. And so he said, if I reach the goal, I'm going to add more stuff. He found me in the middle of the GoFundMe. So like halfway through, he found me. He had already hired a group of turtles because he didn't know about me yet.
Yeah.
He had already hired a group of turtles that made their own costumes. I'm not knocking them because I don't know how to make shit. So, but that's what he found at the time. They were in Oklahoma. He finds me midway through. He's like, dude, how do I get your van and all your turtles over here to my party? And I'm like, well, this is what you got to do. You got to find a way to get the van over there because I ain't driving it.
Yeah.
And then you got to fly us. So within a day, he figured it all out.
Wow.
And he called me back. And Jared, I believe, raised well over 100 grand. All these, that's a ticket sale. So basically, it's a ticket that he was selling to come.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tour going around called I Love the 90s right now that I've been a part of with Vanilla Ice for like 4 years. A lot of people say that this was the first I Love the 90s tour because there was about 10 different of the artists from that tour at his party, at Jared's Epic Party. So that's where I met Rob. And when I met Rob, I met Rob and his manager. Soundcheck was there. And since it was the first time meeting him, we were like, hey man, and we let him talk. He talked to us. He's a real nice guy. And he's like, yeah, just when I come back at 11, because Soundcheck's at 2. Mm-hmm. When I come back at 11 for the show, just be ready right there and we'll do it. I'm like, all right. So we do the show, everything's cool. Jared's epic party was a success, and I got some information from the manager before we left, and they were back in LA at the Queen Mary like 6 months later. And so I messaged the manager, and he's like, "Let me ask Rob if you can come." He's like, "Yeah, Rob wants you there." So for like the next year and a half, it was me asking if I could come. Right? Like, can I come? And he had to get permission. And so after that, then Rob knew my name, and it was even more special. So then it became, "Hey, you can come to whatever show you want, and just get the plane ticket. Let's go. We're all good." I'm like, all right. So now we're on tour, and we've been on tour with him since, well, me, with a couple of other chosen people, for the last 4 years. It's been a good little ride.
Yeah.
Rob's a very nice guy. He does that construction show. You may know Vanilla Ice Project. I was on season 7.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you something about that show. So, Rob's telling me, hey, like back like 2 years ago, whatever it was, he's like, "Yeah, man, you should come work on the show out in Florida. It'd be cool." I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds really fun." And so the manager, Chuck, he was like listening. So after Rob went away to go to his room, Chuck's like, "Hey, what do you think the TV show is going to be like over there in Florida?" And I go, "The TV show?" He's like, "No, it's not going to be like how you are in Hollywood, where there's craft service right there and you got a little dressing room. It's your construction. You're just going to be there, and people are going to have a little camera like this, and they're going to be filming you." I go, "No, that's bullshit."
Okay.
And he's like,
He's giving you the real deal.
he's like, "Yeah, watch. If you go over there, watch. It ain't going to be like how you're accustomed to."
Okay.
And sure enough, I fly over there. So I'm so busy with stuff back in LA that I would fly to Florida 1 week a month for the next 5 months to be on the show and doing stuff, right? And they're always filming. There's like 3 cameras going, like 3 little handhelds, and a simple operation. You know, it's a construction site, so you can't have like a tripod right there. You know?
Right.
And me knowing how film works, I'm like, all right, if I'm in enough footage, I'll be on that show all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not how it was. So the show finally aired. It was like 8 episodes, right? 8 30-minute episodes. I think I was in it like a total of 3.5 seconds. With the majority of the seconds that I was in it, like major things, like it was all 4 of us crashing through like a wall or something. And I have like a still photo of it.
You're like, "That's me. There I am."
And they had like a. I was waiting for like montages, right? Because I go, I know I'll be part of the montages, not part of the main stuff, but. And sure enough, like 2.1 seconds of it was like a montage.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I did that show. I learned really quick about these bugs called can't-see-ums. I don't know if you heard about can't-see-ums in Florida. So the joke that Rob and Wes, the 2 stars of the show, told me, I asked them, "What should I wear?" Because my dad worked construction, so I figured, do I wear construction boots and jeans? And they're like, "No, dude, you're in Florida by the beach. Just wear some shorts and cool t-shirts." But when I got there, they were wearing jeans and construction boots. And so after the first day, nothing went wrong on the first day of filming. When I got back to the hotel and took a shower, I had like a million bites all over my legs and my arms that only showed up after I washed.
Oh my gosh.
It was itching.
Yeah.
The aloe vera worked for a little bit. I had put like aloe vera all over my body. But that was their like initiation joke. It was like, "Yeah, next time you know." And so I went and bought pants, but
Is that really the name? Can't see them?
it's like something can't see them. It's on the bug spray.
Okay.
Because I made sure to go look.
I'll
It's
totally
like
look it
can't
up.
see
I'll
them.
look it up so I know, because or else I feel like I'm falling victim to a joke, because you can't see them. You can't see them, but they bite you. You can't see them. Yeah. Okay.
But you can't see them, and you don't even feel them like on you. It's weird.
That's weird. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, so does this kind of lifestyle stress you out? Kind of, you're doing multiple things, or is it something that like feeds you?
It feeds me. There was a point I did kind of get stressed out when I was doing so the one thing I left out is I was doing turtle stuff, not only birthday parties here, but I was going all over the country every week for charity events. I had a group going to charity events every week, and a group here. So I had 2 sets of suits. I think at one time I had 3, but I had a group out of state every week, and I had a group here doing birthday parties. So between those 2 groups, the Vanilla Ice stuff, my filming here. And that was before the ice cream truck. So I was like always, I'm never home.
Yeah.
I've never been home. I don't know
Sounds
how
like
many
it.
years I've never been home.
Okay.
But it stressed me out like a couple months in the beginning, but I like to be busy.
Yeah.
I don't like to just sit around and do nothing. So
It sounds like ultimately, like, yeah, you can have moments of stress, but you love it. You thrive.
I feed off of it. Yeah.
Because me, I would be like in the fetal position crying wrong like this. If I like, I could not handle it. I'd be so overwhelmed.
I don't let it get to me because I always try and find the solution. I try and fix the problem that's about to happen before it happens. So that helps too, because I don't want to have any issues. I try and nip whatever it is in the butt so it just keeps going like a train, right?
Yeah. What's the thing that you're most proud of this time, at this point in your life?
I had a kid, right? I had a kid. Everybody wants to have a kid, right? So I had a kid.
How old is she?
He is.
I thought
He is 18.
Okay.
Her mom, his mom, excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So he's doing really well in college. First thing didn't ask me for was a car, asked me for a bike, so I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Right? A bicycle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What college?
Citrus.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's that.
Very cool.
But just where I'm at in life right now is good. I know we were talking earlier about the things I'm going to be doing. Not that I don't like to do the same thing, because obviously I wouldn't still have an ice cream truck if I didn't like doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
I just like to have a lot of.
I see a lot of consistency in your story.
I just like to have a lot of different things.
But it's all within the same,
Yes, but by accident. It's not because I do craft service that I go, I'm going to make an ice cream truck.
Right.
The ice cream truck actually came because my friend turned me on to these chamango things. If you've ever had them, like mangonada things.
I've seen them, but I've never actually.
We used to go get them at this place in Almani, and the one thing I saw was that there was no truck for it. Like, it just popped in my head, like, you have to go to like a brick and mortar shop to get these things.
Yeah.
There's no like guy walking with a cart like a elote or like ice cream bars, right? So that's how that idea came up. I go, I'm going to buy a little truck, because my truck's like 8 feet wide, 5 feet wide by like 8 feet long. It's an old postal truck. I go, I'm going to get this truck. I'm going to do parties. People do events with this little truck.
Yeah.
And so that's where that came up.
Yeah. What would the Jason of today say to the senior, junior in high school Jason?
That dude was like non-existent back that day. The Jason of today would probably say, don't be a playboy. Like when I came into money and working on the TV shows and stuff like that, I was having the good life.
Yeah.
Now I didn't go bankrupt or anything, but
Well, that's good.
But
a lot of people did.
Looking back now, I wish that I had put that money and did all this stuff earlier. But I guess everybody needs different times for different things. So
Yep.
I needed to learn to do that.
Yeah.
Right? I needed to learn how to do all this stuff. So, but that's what I would have told him. I would have been like, dude, you don't need the Beamer. You don't need all this shit. Just fucking go spend it and do everything the way I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
Sort of like the almanac in Back to the Future, right? Like here.
Yeah.
Fucking go.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to say thank you for coming and talking to me, and even though I can't hear you, but
You're welcome.
thanks for talking to me.
And for those of you that don't know, she's the reason why I lost my ASB presidency in high school, because she was my campaign manager. So there's a little tidbit for you. Okay?
I'm not into PR. I don't claim to be. I'm not a PR. I'm a one-to-one. Like, let's talk to this person. This one person wants to vote for you. You're golden. Yeah.
We're gonna have a dance with the poor man. Remember that?
That's okay. We're going to be continued, because that's a whole nother conversation about K-Rock and all these things. And I don't even yeah.
You're making me feel old.
I feel old every day when I look in the mirror, but that's okay. But it's okay. It is okay. So thank you.
You're welcome.
This is really fun, and you guys
Bye,
all know.
everybody.
check out Chili Chili Mango and
Ninja Pizza.
I will
Yeah.
put up everything. So
And I got a couple other things coming up that I don't want to mention yet, but by the time this comes out, it'll probably be out. So.
yeah, possibly. Depends on how long I figure out how to edit. So all right, thanks guys. See you next time.